hurt my love, my love, don't hurt my heart, don't hurt my love, my love, don't hurt my heart, don't hurt my love, my love, don't hurt my love, my love.
Hello and welcome to episode 5 of the Playcast, High Level Play. I am one of your hosts. My name is Deckard49.
And I'm Kirkus Manerkus,
The man from the circus.
the man from the circus.
How are you today, Kirk?
Not too bad, mate. Not too bad at all. How's yourself?
A pigeon did a shit on me yesterday.
Well, it's supposed to be good luck, that, apparently.
No, it wasn't, because I was on my way back from work and I had one more bus to get and a pigeon did a shit on my head.
What, did it miss the island, or you were right?
It went down the side of my head, over the back of my ear, and on my jacket.
I'd love to have seen that one.
I walked home, actually. I'm not getting on a bus covered in fucking bird shit.
I don't blame you.
I did a beeline for some fucking quiet back alley and tried to wipe it all off. It was rather disgusting.
I bet it was. Well,
Are you saying that's good luck?
I'm supposed to be, mate. I'd go and do a lottery ticket if I were you.
Well, fucking, you never know. We might get an email for today's podcast.
Now that would be epic.
Stranger things have happened.
Stranger things have happened, mate.
Anything else interesting happened to you this week?
Can't think of anything.
I was in Yo Sushi last night. Did you get that in Wales? Yo Sushi.
No.
So basically, what it is this little gimmicky sushi shop, and what you do is you go and sit at it. It's like a big sort of island, ironically enough, considering what you just said, and the sushi goes round on this little conveyor belt.
I've seen them on my holidays, like
on
my
trays.
travels.
Yeah. So we had some food in Yo Sushi, and they do this massive bottle of Asahi beer. And we had some very, very odd people sitting next to us, actually, in the booth across from us. The first couple, the woman, she was getting all digi and she was like shaking and shit. And her boyfriend called over the guy, and he's gone, look, we can't sit here. And the guy's gone, okay, is that a thing? And the guy's gone, my girlfriend, she gets claustrophobic and she's having a bit of an attack. And I don't come into a tiny little fucking sushi place if you're claustrophobic. Go to fucking Nando's or something.
Well, that's put me off even trying sushi, man. I never even tried it.
But what they did, they spent about 20 minutes trying to get the guy to open up the other side of the conveyor belt. Because what Yo do, obviously, like at non-peak times, the place is not very busy. So they kind of block the conveyor belt, so it only goes around a smaller part of the shop, if you see what I mean.
Like a little small conveyor belt. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So they spent about 20 minutes trying to get the guy to open up like peak time levels of seats so that she could go and sit in a place which was open.
What a joker.
Yeah, that's exactly it, mate. What a joke. Next guys come and sat down, Indian couple, seemed quite normal. They decided the light was too bright. And they had 2 plates. And then they spent about 20 minutes again talking about where they were going to have their food, because this was like the pre-food food.
It seems like you have to be in the right state of mind to be eating sushi or something. It's either too dingy or too claustrophobic.
Oh,
or the light.
I don't know, mate. I don't know.
What's going on?
I was just ordering plate after plate, beer after beer. I was having a great old time, but
I don't like fish food, so I don't think I'd ever try sushi.
It's raw fish, traditionally sushi, but in these places they do a lot of cooked stuff as well. So the really good stuff is not in the little pamphlet, because you know what they do is they've got plates with colours on, and that's how you determine how much the food is. But they've also got like a little menu, and you can ask the chef to cook you stuff up, and it's pretty sweet actually.
I believe the blowfish is quite a rare delicacy.
Well, if my cultural understanding is anything to go by, if they don't cook that fish properly, it will kill you.
You will die.
Yeah, you will physically die. And that chef's paycheck will physically die as well, I imagine.
I think so.
Or do you reckon they're just there in the back, like comparing how many people they've offed?
Probably, yeah.
Perhaps in the less reputable ones.
Loads of notches on the old chopping board, like.
Yeah, man. Like you just hit ah.
There's another one.
Like a big. What's a traditional Japanese name, mate?
Oh God, don't ask me, mate.
Right, but I'm going to call him Big John, and I like the idea.
Big John.
I like the idea. There's a Japanese chef called Big John, actually. So you just hit and And Big John just slowly looks across at his team and then fucking gets that knife out and just carves another notch, as if to say, "You guys don't do your jobs. This is you."
I like it. I like
Anyway,
it.
what I think, Kirk, is from one Japanese tragedy to another. We're going to do our news first this week, actually, and we did have something planned around discussing the Wii U, Nintendo's newest or yet to be newest console, which they're going to put out at some point. But they did us a favor and caused quite a lot of controversy over the last week, and they did that with the Nintendo 3DS. So our show today. It's not going to focus on it, but it's going to feature this quite prominent actually. Now, the 3DS has been out 4 months. Kirk, does that sound about right?
4 months, yeah.
About 4 months. Notably, quite a severe lack of software actually. It was released with Street Fighter 4, which if you've got any nous about you, nous that's a word, isn't it? Nous,
Nous?
nous.
No, I've never heard that before, mate.
Nous. I think it means like acumen, like intelligence.
Okay, I'll take your word
I
for it.
I tell you what, mate, it's quite dangerously close to the word nonce, so I'm never going to use it again.
No. Or
Um,
mouse with an N.
yeah, yeah. Well, I wouldn't, I have mice running around my house occasionally. And, it's a cause for a little bit of upset, but I've never had a nonce running around my house, as far as I know. That would probably be quite a large cause of concern, actually.
I think so.
Um, I've actually derailed my own riff in there and forgot where we've got with that. Okay, this is the bottom line, Kirk. Nintendo 3DS has had a major, major price cut, and it has gone from a whopping $249.99 US farthings. Is that a thing?
Farthings?
US farthings?
Again, I'll take your word for
Yeah,
it, mate.
right, fine, that's it. US shillings. So $250 US down to 170. What do you think about that?
I think someone somewhere's dropped a clanger, haven't they?
I
Up
think
high up in
somewhere has
Nintendo.
had to drop their pants following this.
I think so. For them to
Mate,
reduce the prices that
this is
early.
this is big news, Kirk. This is an $80 price cut 4 months into the lifespan of a console. What's going on here? What's fucking happened?
Not looking good, mate. Not looking good.
Not looking good.
What could be is, like you said, first it came with the health hazard. A lot of people are bringing the 3DSs back because of the health hazard. Same
Mhm,
people were saying it was hurting their eyes too much. You couldn't play up more than half an hour.
mhm.
And then you've got the other things as well, which is
There was a couple of things actually, and I think we'll probably look at them in a little bit more detail. But I think you're right in that the health hazard was quite a big thing actually. It takes a while for eyes to get acclimatized to the type of 3D or any type of 3D that they're presenting, because essentially the concept of 3D visual technology is tricking your eyes into believing something is true that isn't true.
that's what I read apparently. It's something to do with your brain visualizing something that you can't touch, and it's sort of like hurts your eyes or something.
Yeah, so you've got a certain amount of depth perception in your eyes, and your eyes obviously are a certain distance apart. Some people further than others, unfortunately, the ugly fuckers. And what 3D technology does basically is it presents two images slightly out of sync with each other, and your brain trying to process what it's actually seeing converts that into what is understood as 3D, and it hurts your eyes basically. It's your eye is it's like a muscle. It's like any other muscle. You lift weights, your arms are going to hurt until they get used to it. Watching 3D will make your eyes go.
Because when it first was released, this was only like a week or two after. I was reading in the newspapers that people were bringing them back to HMV, and HMV were actually giving people full discount
Yeah.
to bring it back. But then,
So
yeah,
HMV had a policy where they were giving the money, they were giving
full
it back.
refund, definitely. Yeah, that's what they were saying in the newspapers. Yeah. So even after the second week, I thought, oh, this doesn't look too good for the 3DS at all.
It doesn't bode well, does it?
No,
Doesn't bode well at all.
especially when it's a health hazard, because that's quite serious.
All right, I have just had to crawl under my computer because my monitor has gone off. Let's see if we can test my skills of memory, Kirk. I do not currently have access to the show notes, but I'm going to see if I can start pushing this fucking agenda along just from memory.
Let's just see how good you've swatted up on, man.
Okay, so I believe the next thing that we had on there was so in English terms, so $250, 250 US farthings down to 170. That's an $80 price cut. I
Yeah.
believe the equivalent because I plugged that into an actual converter, like a currency converter, and I think that takes us from about £152.50 English money down to about £103.
That's right.
Is that
Bang
is
on
that is
the
that
money.
bang on?
You're bang on. Only you said £1, £152.50. That's actually £152.20.
Okay.
But you're only 30p off.
30 pence off, mate. A lot less than Nintendo at this point. So consider myself, yeah, I'll consider that a success.
I
And
think that's
just tell me there because I can't remember how much is the 3DS actually going for at the moment on Amazon?
Amazon are currently listed 3DS standalone console at £169.99.
£169, and the retail price. I've got my screen back on. Thank you very much. With a suggested retail price of 230 quid.
Yeah, it's a hell of a drop in it, mate.
That's a fact. And I believe this is actually speculation. This probably isn't. Well, actually, this probably is a fact. So the 3DS is probably more expensive than most of the consoles now at this point.
I think you're not far off there, yeah.
Yeah, the only one I can think that might be a little bit more is PlayStation 3. I certainly know there is a version of the Xbox which is certainly a lot less than that.
That's the arcade, isn't it?
Yeah, the arcade version.
Yeah.
Oh, this is big news, mate. What's going on in Nintendo? What is going on in Nintendo?
Well, I think they've overpriced it on launch. That can be another reason.
I think
That is the reason, isn't it? One of the reasons.
I think one of the things as well, Kirk, is that we've been touting this for quite some time, and in a measure of jest, we have said the time of the handheld is over.
Definitely.
I think Apple, as she gyrates around that pole, is pissing herself laughing at this point because
That,
in my mind, certainly, without a shadow of a doubt. iPod Touch, and iPhone 4 have shredded this market.
they have, definitely.
They've absolutely shredded this market.
Definitely. Definitely, because I think the Nintendo handheld they've obviously been dominant for so many years now. And then, obviously, like you said, the new boys are in town, like, and everything's a lot more cheaper,
Hmm
a lot more accessible.
hmm
And yeah, I think they should just do something different. I think they should either bring out a completely, cause to me, a 3DS looking. I haven't actually got one, but to me, a 3DS is just a DS, but with this little, but with this little, I don't know, like novelty that gives you like a 3D vision. But if it's got health hazards and all sorts of things go along with it, I don't know if I'd be willing to buy it. But I don't know. Maybe that's the reason for the price drop. I don't know.
I'll tell you what, mate. We might get to a point where I just post you mine.
You could do actually, mate.
Yeah, I think when I'm done with Zelda, actually, that might be the case.
You still owe me a fiver.
Oh, you cheeky bastard! You still owe me credibility. You still owe me your honor for dismissing the deadliest of premonitions.
Tell you the credibility went when you told me to buy that game.
You cheeky bastard.
I tell you.
I'm not gonna forget this. And have you watched Mulholland Drive?
No, I haven't, mate.
All right.
No.
I want you to have done that by next week. Is that a
Okay,
deal?
that's a deal. I'll do my homework, and I
Cool.
can tell you how I found it.
Okay, so to give Nintendo some credit, they've obviously had a look around. They've seen what the sales are, and I haven't put the sales in the show notes, but my understanding, Kirk, is that it sold somewhere in a region of 3.8 million in the first month, which was under their expected estimate, but that's still not shabby, 3.8 million units. However, over the next 4 months, it only turned over 700,000 units, which is a significant drop off.
That's a body blow for Nintendo, that definitely.
So what they've done is they've had a look around and they've taken drastic action, and fair play to them because it is make or break time, and they do not want another GameCube on their hands. They do not want that.
No, no,
Not even slightly.
no, definitely not. But what I believe, aren't they going to like give you guys that have actually brought the game early, or sorry, brought the console early, they're actually going to give you some kind of so what I'm looking for, freebies,
That's one way of saying it.
freebies.
I think you should have said you suckers.
You suckers,
Yeah,
yeah.
you suckers who bought it early.
Which it also includes you, if I believe rightly.
It also includes me, and this is probably one of the few occasions in my life where I will admit not to suck in because that has entirely different connotations, but to being a sucker.
Mm.
Now they have somewhere in the region of maybe 5 or 6 million people, consumers at this point, who are or just have been confronted with the news that a product they paid a significant amount of money for has been marked down significantly.
Mm.
So Nintendo's response to this, and this news was also dropped on the 28th of July when this price drop happened, was they're going to run something called the 3DS Ambassador Program.
Mm.
And the Ambassador Program essentially is us suckers getting 20 free games via the Nintendo 3DS. Important distinction to make, Kirk. Not 3DS games, but via the 3DS using the eShop portal. And we're going to get that for our trouble.
But tell me this, Deckard, mate. Are they going to be actual next gen games, or are they going to be retro?
Well, they were next gen at some point, weren't they? In
What are you gonna?
1984.
So you're telling me we're gonna? Well, you suckers are gonna get NES games?
Okay, tell me if you can place this. I'll tell you what I'll try and do, Kirk. I'll try and guess the games. I mean, you've got them in front of you, but try and guess the games by the sound effect that I'm making. How does that?
Okay, okay.
Boom boom, boom boom, boom boom, boom boom. What's that?
Is that Zelda?
No, it's not. Come on,
Uh,
mate. That's the sound that Mario makes when he jumps on the flag at the end of a level.
no, that's got
Brothers.
that doesn't sound nothing like it, mate.
And the fireworks go off in the air.
If you'd have gone, let's go, no, that would have been a bit more of a clue.
But that would have been Super Mario 64.
No, no. I'm sure he would have spoke. No, they wouldn't have not during the NES games. I mean, you guys wouldn't even get him saying anything. That's
If
how.
he did talk during the NES games, he would have said something more along the lines of, "Let's go." Emperor Mario, mate. Emperor Mario.
Emperor Mario.
All right. I'm tired of this particular skit, so I'm just going to read them out.
All right.
There's 10 NES games, 5 of which we know. Super Mario Brothers, Donkey Kong Jr., Balloon Fight, Ice Climber, and The Legend of Zelda. Zelda?
Zelda?
The Legend of Zelda.
Zelda.
No, 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 no. This is a new game. This is a new jam. It wasn't like it wasn't widely publicized, and it has actually got quite a lot of footage of Jessica Alba in it. So that hence
Ah,
the retitling of the last word there. The Legend of Zelda.
I like it.
You can buy that for 15 US farthings.
Nice.
Okay. In addition to that, I'm not to be fair, mate. The Legend of Zelda would be nice to play, and Super Mario Brothers will be a little nostalgic little trip there.
Taking you
But
back to when you got it for Christmas.
exactly, taking it back to when one game had to last 6 months.
Yeah.
You got a game for your birthday and a game for Christmas,
Mm.
and you played the shit out of them.
That reminds me, yeah, I remember. I'm just taking you, tell you a little story, quick
You
story.
put me in the Wayback Machine.
Yeah, I remember when my cousin first got Super Mario Brothers for the NES, and you know when you leave the, I don't know if they still do it now. I think they do. You know, if you leave on the menu screen for a while, it comes up with like a demo play.
Mm-hmm.
And my cousin said to me, he goes, "Ah, see this demo? Every time you play it for the first time, it records what you did on the first attempt." So he goes, "Oh, that's my uncle that is playing that." And it was like, I
Did you
thought,
fall
no
for
way.
that?
I fell for it because I was only young, like. I
Oh,
actually fell
mate.
for that kind of stuff. But
Oh, mate.
anyway, that's me telling you a
That
shitty old.
kind of reminds me something my dad used to do to me. But this This podcast is not about domestic
No.
abuse. It's about video games. So I will tell you the 5 Game Boy Advance titles I will be
Right.
receiving as part of the ambassador program.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yoshi's Island, Super
Wow.
Mario Advance 3. That's not a bad game.
Hmm.
That's not a bad game. Mario Kart Super Circuit, not bad either. Metroid Fusion, I can take it or leave it. WarioWare Inc.
I love that.
Mega Micro Games. And this is one I did actually play. My sister had a Game Boy Advance actually, and she loved the shit out of this particular game, Mario versus Donkey Kong,
Yeah.
which is quite a nice game. I don't know if you ever saw that.
No, I never did.
It was pretty sweet. You used to play as Mario. It was kind of puzzle orientated game, and you could get about half a dozen little Marios chasing you around,
Cool.
jumping when you jumped, and
Oh, like infant kind of Mario.
yeah, exactly.
I remember that one. Yeah.
Making all sorts of sound. And additionally, there'll be another 5 games that we don't know about at this point in time.
Can I just
Interesting.
suggest which games I think they should bring it into it as well?
Well, okay. Tell me NES games you'd like to see. In
NES
fact, I've
games.
one big NES game that I would like to see.
Right, I'd like to see an old game I remember quite well was Low G Man. Did you ever hear about that one?
No, Low G Man, that wasn't on my radar at all.
That was wicked.
What was it? How did it play?
Oh, it was a bit like Ninja Gaiden.
Okay.
A bit like
Those
that.
games were rock hard back in the day, weren't they?
Oh, they were brilliant.
You had to beat it in one go.
Yeah.
No continues, no save points.
It was brilliant. Duck Hunt should be on it as well because you use a touchscreen. That'd be quite cool.
Yeah. That kind of fucking easy though, wouldn't it?
I suppose it would be, wouldn't it?
Unless they made it like Fruit Ninja and about 15 ducks came flying at the same time. That'd be interesting.
I'm trying to think of another one that I used to play as well. Wasn't Double Dragon on the NES as well?
Double Dragon was on the NES.
Yeah, I love that, man.
I would like to see Castlevania.
Yes.
I love the shit out of that. I would like to see. No, in fact, I demand to see Mega Man 2.
Mega Man.
Yeah, Mega Man 2,
Yeah.
which was probably the best Mega Man game.
Cool.
And I would also like to see RoboCop.
Yeah, do you remember that?
Yeah, RoboCop was pretty sweet.
That was cool.
Game Boy Advance games, I can't really speak to that too much. So,
I've got a few.
Oh.
Fire Emblem.
Okay, yeah, that's quite popular. That was Overhead RPG, is that right?
That was it was awesome. That got me through some of my travels, like on the plane and that. I love that game.
And do you remember that time you did 3 to 10 in the pen? What was it for again? Kidnapping.
Shit, man. What was the other one I was going to suggest then? Oh, you've just thrown me then. I was on course telling you
Mate,
what.
I brought your mind back to the time where you were doing 3 to 10 in a Welsh pen. Your bunkmate was called fucking Big John.
Big John.
He was doing 10 to 15 for fucking killing someone with a blowfish. Not by the way he cooked it, mind. Just attack them with the blowfish and smash their face in.
God.
Listen to this, mate. Do you remember Pikachu Not For You?
Yeah.
3DS, not the best.
I like it, man. It's a little slogan.
3DS, not the best. That
I like.
that fucking phrase happened.
It's not as good as Pikachu
It's-
Not
no,
For You though.
no.
That was ace, man.
I'll put some more thought into it. Maybe I can come up with something.
Oh, I had so many games for that.
What was that one? My mate Karim really, really loved it. It was Tank Tactics or something.
That was it.
Battle Tank Tactics or something like that.
Yeah, no, it was.
It's kind of like a real-time strategy game, wasn't it?
That was what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Was it Battalion Wars or something like that?
Battalion Wars, that's it.
It was. Yeah, it was
Battalion
brilliant.
Wars, the one.
1 and 2 was good.
Yeah.
Oh, they were brilliant. There was also another game, like a wrestling game on it. It was a bit like a crossover between UFC and wrestling. Oh, it was brilliant. What was that called? Nitro or something like that? No, it wasn't.
Yeah,
Nitro.
that sounds like it. They've always got shitty names like that.
Yeah, but it was hell
Super Wrestling Extreme Nitro
to the max.
to the max. I tell you what, they announced they were going to make a sequel, and that what killed Randy Savage. They told him we weren't going to be in it.
You got a text message and that.
Oh yeah, yeah. No blowfish involved.
No.
Have you got any more Game Boy Advance games you'd like to see,
I'm trying
mate?
to think now because I've still got them all upstairs. I could get them and just reel them out, but
All
I
right,
can't
I'll tell you
think any
what I'm
off
going
the
to
top.
do. You fumble along there and try and remember it, and I am going to go onto Wikipedia
Right.
and I'm going to shout some stuff out at you.
Okay. And I'll tell you whether I played them.
Okay, Game Boy Advance,
Good.
SP, list of games. No, that's not a list of games. Pokemon?
No, I wasn't into that.
No, we discussed that last time, didn't we?
No.
All right, this isn't a list of games. This is just a list of different types of
No,
consoles they put
it was
up.
called Advance Wars, not Battalion Wars.
You're taking the heat for that, mate. I barely knew what the game was.
No, it was called Advance Wars. It was Advance Wars 1 and 2. I think it might have been called Battalion Wars somewhere else, but I'm sure I'll be correct.
Oh, you're going for the Region 1 shenanigan there. Oh, yeah,
Ye-
no, it was called that somewhere else.
Yeah,
In some unknown fucking province at the back of the Blowfish shop.
I think I'm right there. It's called Advance Wars.
Little John used to call it Battalion Wars, but never when Big John was around. All right, should we move on a little bit, Kirk? What do you think?
Yeah, we'll move on. We'll move on.
Okay, so I've got an article here that I've pulled. Well, actually, one more interesting thing to note is Nintendo are claiming that the free GBA titles won't be made available to anyone else on the eShop, which is an interesting decision.
Only the suckers that brought the console.
Only the suckers. I'll tell you what's pretty interesting as well for people who like gaming a system, no pun intended, is I've heard a lot of talk about people actually buying it now and then taking it back to price match it.
Ah.
And I think Amazon in particular have got wise to that because they've actually cut it now before the official date, which I believe is the 12th of August.
That's clever.
So,
Mm.
if you fancy a free 10 GBA titles, buy the game now and then return it in a couple of weeks, or well, actually a week, and get your money back.
You could do quite easily.
Yeah. I've pulled another article from giantbomb.com here actually for our next aspect of this. So thank you very much, giantbomb.com. Just a little note that Nintendo actually, off the back of this announcement, their stock fell 21%, and they had their first quarterly loss. So, this won't be just because of the announcement. This will be because of the way that the 3DS is performing, in addition to the Nintendo Wii, which is not selling particularly well. Although one man, and I will try and pronounce his name, former Nintendo president Hiroshi Yamauchi, he used to run operations at Nintendo. He single-handedly lost $300 million.
Phew. Ouch.
It sounds like from the state of his bank balance, that wasn't particularly a big thing. Which is a place I would like to be in.
Definitely.
He's worth roughly $4.6 billion apparently.
Jeez. Nice.
Anyway, another very interesting thing is that senior management at Nintendo HQ have taken quite a significant pay cut, actually, with the president, and I will try and pronounce his name as well. Or perhaps you can, Kirk.
Nintendo president
Yeah.
is Hiroshi Yamauchi.
No, that's the former president.
Right.
Next paragraph down.
Hiroshi?
No, starts with an S.
That was the same guy I just read out.
Okay, I'll give it a try. Satoru Iwata.
No, you've said it wrong.
Fuck you. You try and correct me then.
No, you're alright,
Should I
mate.
do it in my Emperor voice? Is
Yeah,
that what
you
want?
do. That's what I want to hear.
No, it's not going to happen. I'm not that easy, boy. I'm not that easy. So at a conference in Tokyo, Iwata told investors that he was taking personal responsibility for the 3DS slow sales, and he's also taken a 50% reduction in pay. So he goes down from about $2 million to $1 million a year.
So you were saying that's more of a Japanese respect thing?
It's kind of a culture thing.
Culture thing.
The Japanese culture, there's a lot of credence given to what they call face, which is like pride.
Right.
And very, well, not historical figures have been known to go to extreme measures to actually what they call save face. So, for
Right.
example, if you dishonored your family in some way, let's say, for example, you're running a business and all of your family was dependent on you, if your business failed, we're talking in sort of medieval times here, they would commit something called seppuku. And seppuku is ritual suicide, where they'd kill themselves with a blade, they'd stab
Ah, I've
themselves in the
seen.
chest.
Yeah, yeah.
I read a book a couple of years ago, and I can't actually remember what it was called at the moment, but there was a very, very amusing bit in it where a general was storming a castle. Once again, this is feudal Japan. He stormed the castle, and he laid siege to the castle for about 3 months, but he couldn't break in. So what he did at the end of those 3 months, he called out the general in the castle, the guy who was defending the castle, for a meeting with him, and he said to the general, "Look, this is my name. This is my father's name." He goes, "I have told my emperor that I will take your castle." And he said, I've been unable to take it. So what I'm going to ask you now is that you surrender your castle to me, or I kill myself in front of you.
I wonder what his answer was.
Well, out of respect for the guy, the general of the castle surrendered his castle to him.
What?
So this is what I'm saying is these really odd sort of pride things that the Eastern cultures actually that they actually deal with.
That's quite cool, really.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So the president has taken a 50% cut, and the respective directors, so senior managing directors, so Shigeru Miyamoto, he's the guy who invented Mario and Zelda, and some other gentleman that I don't know, they'll take 30% pay cuts, and other executives at the company will lose 20% off their salaries.
Which I can imagine won't be too much, like, 'cause I'm sure
Well,
they're
probably,
limited anyway.
yeah, maybe maybe a couple of hundred grand.
Jeez.
Yeah. So yeah, so quite a lot of activity at Nintendo HQ there, basically.
But the good things that come out of it all, at least they're addressing it, the problem, and they're doing something about it, instead of just being greedy and sitting back and waiting for the money to roll in. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I haven't put it on our show notes here, but another interesting tangent here, Kirk, and I'm not sure if you've read up on this at all, is that it's really, really interesting how the different cultures have been articulating to the public, to the consumer, to the suckers like me, what this means. Now, Nintendo of Europe and Nintendo of America have basically tried to go, "Oh wow, this is great. Look, you're getting 20 games. That's cool,
yeah.
isn't it?" Like trying to sell it to us like it's a good thing. Whereas the Eastern guys in Nintendo of Japan have actually come out and said, "We've let you down. Okay,
Mm.
we've let our consumers down. Okay, we apologize profusely, and this is kind of a small token of what we can do for you, and we just want to take this opportunity to thank you for your loyalty."
Well, that's like what you said. Like, it's a cultural thing, isn't it?
It is, yeah, it is, and I respond a lot better to the latter rather than the former. Don't wink, wink,
Definitely,
nudge, nudge. Tell me I'm getting 20 games and expect me to be happy that I paid fucking £100 over the odds.
definitely.
Anyway, yeah. So I think there's a couple of trends that we've actually got going on here in our podcast, and
Mm.
the digital gaming stuff is one of them, and I think there'll be some interesting stuff about the East and Western, connect or disconnect as it might be that we can probably riff on as we move forward. I think that's actually going to be quite useful for us.
Definitely.
Okay, so I consider us wrapped up on the actual direct Nintendo 3DS there. For me, what I would consider a footnote here is what happens to the PlayStation Vita now.
Now that Nintendo have become a bit stuck, you mean?
Yeah, now that Nintendo have evidenced that it's actually quite difficult to sell a handheld gaming device at 250 quid.
Well, I think they're just going to take a lesson from it and just reduce the prices on the launch, aren't they?
Well, they might, or however, they may not. Do you remember last episode I told you about Kaz Hirai? And he asserted that the PlayStation 3 price was not an issue, and people would go out and get a second job to buy this piece of hardware.
That's right. I remember you
He's
saying,
he's
yeah,
been back on the scene actually. He's been back on form. He's been dropping a joint or two. So let me just because initially the PlayStation Vita was announced at $250, which at that time was the same price as the Nintendo 3DS. And
Mm.
that works significantly in Sony's favor, because technically the Vita is a significantly more powerful device than Nintendo 3DS. And so now Nintendo have put their shit out, they put their product out, it's fucking failed, it's dropped like the man who swallowed Big John's blowfish.
Well, the thing is, with what the problem I see is with Nintendo, they keep releasing these handheld devices, but they just seem to be like a modification of the handheld device they already have out. So they've had the DS, DS Lite, DS, whether it
DSi.
was DSi.
DSi XL.
Yeah, there's countless of it, and then they've brought out the 3DS thinking it's going to be the next big thing, but literally all it is a modification of the old console.
Yeah, well, I know this from the forums as well. Like, what people are actually saying. People are actually expecting a different iteration of this hardware very, very quickly, within 6 months.
Mm.
Because that's how Nintendo have conditioned us. We put the first one out, and then we put a sleeker one out to start with, like to finish, actually.
People are going to get a bit pretty pissed off because the guys that have brought the second or the third
Mhm.
generation, and then they keep bringing out the new ones. Like with me, I lost touch with them when I got the 3DS. Sorry, the DS, and then they brought out like a slimmer, more sleeker version. I thought, there's no point buying that again. It's the same technology, just a little bit lighter, a little bit slimmer.
The difference between the 3DSo and between the DS and the DS Lite was quite a big one, though.
Was it?
Yeah, with the backlit screen and the brightness.
You still play the same games on it though, didn't you?
You do. I had both of them on my house because me and my missus used to have like.
Yeah, it's handy in that way. If you were to pass it down to either your sibling or your partner or whatever, that's good in one way. Cause you could always go out and buy the next one. But
Well, we used to just keep a couple of them in the house and do Mario Kart. It was
yeah,
me and my missus. It was awesome.
'cause
Yeah.
that's cool. You can do it Wi-Fi, can't you?
Yeah, exactly.
But the thing is, what I think is good as a positive note with Sony, they're actually bringing out something new handheld device. Something that's like got the same technology as the PlayStation 3 in your hand. So that's something new, and I think that will sell much better than what Nintendo keep doing. They've just brought a trend out, I think.
So let me drop some quotage, some wordage on you.
Do it.
From this article, which is on GamesRadar.com. So thank you very much, GamesRadar.com. North American and European PlayStation Vita hopefuls will have to edit their holiday wish lists, as Sony today confirmed the forthcoming handheld will not be shipping to European or US consumers until early 2012. So that was basically the bulk of the story. So then it's not going to come out until after Christmas. Sony's executive vice president, he's had a promotion recently actually, Kaz Hirai. Kaz, they'll get a second job, Hirai, delivered the somewhat disappointing news today in Japan, clarifying the PS Vita is still on track to meet its 2011 Japanese launch window. The news follows reports from developer 505 Games. It was anticipating a full launch for the US and UK, and earlier rumblings from Amazon that the PS Vita would be ready for pre-order customers as soon as January the 4th. There's two bits to this story. So Hirai was careful not to call the revised launch date a delay, but rather a strategic move to make sure the PS Vita launches with a strong lineup. On the topic of cost, Hirai insisted Sony would not be dropping the price of PS Vita in response to Nintendo 3DS retail cuts, saying, "We packed so much into the device and made it very affordable. There is no need to lower the price just because somebody else that happens to be in the video game business decided they were going to lower their price." End quote. The PS Vita will debut for US 249 US farthings for the Wi-Fi only version and 299 US shillings for the 3G model.
Jeez.
So $300 if you want it to connect online. What do you think, Kirk?
Would you be buying one, mate?
No. And that actually says something, because apart from being a sucker, I believe myself to be something of a gaming aficionado, and I do like buying technology to have the ability to talk about technology.
Yeah.
But I've got no interest in the PS Vita actually. My 3DS is sitting in the corner covering dust.
And what's the reasons for this then?
Well, those type of experiences, Kirk, Uncharted 3 looks amazing, or Uncharted Vita looks amazing on the 3DS. On the 3DS, that would be a fucking game. It looks amazing on the PS Vita, but it's not.
Yeah.
It won't. It will not be a speck of what the Sony PlayStation 3 version is going to be
No.
on a 42-inch HD screen, surround sound speakers, controller in my hand.
But you couldn't take that on a bus with you, could you?
I don't think I'd want to be honest.
Mm,
I don't think I'd want to.
no.
I don't want to play Uncharted on the bus.
But the same time, yeah, that's very true. That because
It's not the type of experience I want to play.
no, I mean it'd be good on a plane where you're stuck in one place for a long period of time.
Yeah.
But that's the only times I can actually think. Like coming back to smartphones again, you can pick up, play, and when you've had enough, just turn it off, and it's still a phone.
Well, I'll tell you what, mate. I've been doing some mobile gaming this week, and we'll get more into that when we talk about what we've been playing. But
Definitely.
it's very, very important that there are bite-sized chunks to mobile gaming.
Yeah.
You know, the thing I like about the DS as well, generally, just any type of DS that you're talking about, and this has never been the case with any of the Sony handhelds, is the DS you can literally just close the lid and put it in your pocket.
That's it. Yeah.
It's just, and the game suspends and it goes into standby.
Mm.
Whereas with the PlayStation, you know, you have to fiddle about with turning it off and stuff.
Yeah.
And
That's
you know, the
true.
thing I like about being able to close the DS is that the screen's protected as well.
Yeah.
So then you can just shove it in your pocket with your keys. You know, you're not worried about it.
You don't have to worry about the screen getting scratched to death.
Exactly. So I'm gonna prophesize. Is that a little bit high?
Maybe.
I'm gonna say that 3DS will either sink or swim come Christmas.
Do you think so? And that'll be
Yeah.
the end of that.
That'll be it.
Pikachu, not for you.
Yeah, exactly. So, mate, I believe that we've done a very, very, very thorough Nintendo 3DS or general Nintendo going over it.
So let me just put this at you now. How do you think, after saying that, do you think the PlayStation Vita is gonna like play out? How do you think is it gonna be a success or is it gonna be an actual flop?
I tell you what's going to happen, mate. And I don't want to be a cynic. The PlayStation Portable, the one that's out now, is actually sold really, really well, and that's because of the quality of the screen and the media opportunities that presents. What I think is going to happen to the PlayStation Vita is it's going to come out, and in about 2 weeks, people are going to find out how to pirate it, and then no one will be buying games from retailers. They will be downloading films, they'll be downloading TV shows, and they'll be downloading games from the BitTorrent networks, and that's what they will be using it for. Exactly the same thing that happened to the PlayStation Portable now. If you look at the attach rate, that is to say the amount of consoles that were sold versus the amount of games which were sold for each one of those consoles, I think the Sony PSP has got one of the lowest attach rates in the history of gaming.
Has it really?
Yeah, and that's because of piracy. Followed close by the Nintendo Wii, and that's simply because the Nintendo Wii was the Wii Sports machine. That's what people saw it as. Get the sports game out.
Yeah.
It's like going back in the day to Pong.
Yeah, it was just like a party console, I suppose.
Exactly.
Wasn't it? Yeah.
I think it's going to tank, mate. Like, I think it's going to tank badly.
Do you?
Yeah.
Well,
I think they'll keep a reasonably large amount of consoles moving, but I don't think that it's gonna. I think Apple's got it locked up.
I think so too.
I think she's working that pole.
Oh, she's got it, mate.
Bro,
A platinum pole is gleaming.
Pound notes sticking out. She's run out of thong.
We'll just have to see in episode 25. Well, you might have to eat your words, mate.
We'll see, mate. I'll be ready to eat my words. I will do that. No,
cool.
I'll eat a hat if you want.
Okay.
How does that sound?
I think that's a pretty good deal.
As long as I get to choose the hat.
Okay. It can't be no.
Well, I know what you're like. You'll just go down the fucking charity shop.
Shut your face.
I know what you're like, mate. We've been to this place before.
Yes, we have.
Mm.
And then we have to mention your little tuft on your head that you call the island?
So I do have a mohawk. Yes, I have very strong, virile, massive hair.
I was thinking before, do you call yourself Decod 4049 because that's 49 mil of tough on your head?
Oh, mate, you are actually escaped from the circus. That's how. I...
Oh man.
All right, I think we'll cut the. Should we do any more news? What do you want to do? Do you want to do any more news or go into games at this point? I'm just conscious of our running time here.
Yeah, we'll go into games now, yeah.
All right, cool. Well, what we'll do is we'll play some intermission music, and then
Right.
we'll be back after the break. And I have a mobile gaming confession to make to you.
Oh dear.
All right. Speak to you in a second.
Bye-bye.
Almost given up, but it's love that keeps me here, binding the soul to skin inside. Almost given up, but it's fate that ties me with golden ropes of fate in a losing race. We fade away. We fade
Righty-ho. What now?
Yeah, in your own time.
Yeah, so I've been playing From Dust this week.
I have also been playing From Dust.
So what did you think of it first?
Well, you finished, so how should we do this? Because I haven't finished, so potentially I could really fuck myself up by saying something silly, and that might be what you want to hear. I'm not sure.
What kind of thing would you say which would be silly?
Well, I got to a point in the game where I'm not liking it as much as I was when it started. Because when it started, I spent quite a long time, and I tend to do this with these types of games, kind of ignoring what the main objectives are,
Yeah.
and trying to get the river to flow a different way down the hill and stuff like that.
See, that's what I enjoyed about the game. Is it's a proper sandbox game, and you can do what the heck you want, like.
Mm.
That's what I liked about it.
So we should probably explain what it is, because if you haven't seen it, or we should probably try to explain what it is, because if you haven't seen it, it might be a little bit difficult to understand what we're saying, I guess.
Yeah. It's like Populous. Remember that game Populous?
Mate, that's going back a little bit.
Yeah, well, it's like you're a god, or a bit like Black and White. If any of you guys played that in the past, that very similar to that. You just got to it's like a mixture between Populous and Lemmings. You've got to try and get your tribe from one part of the map to the other, but you got to fight off the elements as well. You got typhoons, tsunamis, and
Welsh people.
floods, Welsh people.
Mm.
It gets tricky, like it's not as, and you got to sort of like shape the landscape to try and to your benefit if you like it. So it's a good game. I really liked it.
I knew there was a secret uphill gardener in you somewhere, mate.
You cheeky shit.
So you don't actually control any one thing or person. You control what I guess they call it the breath,
The breath, yeah,
which is like a little worm
yeah,
that goes round and round and round.
and you can actually change the breath to like other big powers. You know, like pick up more volume of sand and things just to try and shape to make bridges over and things. It's really good.
Mm. So basically, you are trying to get your people, your tribe, across the land, and to do that, there's a couple of elements generally you have to deal with. There's lots of sand, and you have to use the sand to make bridges. What else is there?
What else is there? There's like quite a few little powers. You know, if your tribe gets sets on fire, there's one power that like puts out all flames on the whole map, or if there's like a flood, you can evaporate so all the water disappears. Just things like that. It's really, really good.
That's getting a little bit further on into the game, though, isn't it? Like to start with, you're basically just an entity that can pick up and drop things down.
Yeah.
It's sort of sand, water, and lava that you start with, don't you?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But the try can be a bit stupid sometimes. I mean, they'll run out across where you can see a tsunami coming. They don't run back to the village, like, but no, they'll just stand there and get washed away, which is quite funny, but also a bit frustrating as well sometimes. Like,
The pathfinding's not amazing, is it?
no, not at all.
So straight off the bat, they just let you mess around with a world or a series of connected lands that are not in motion, are kind of just static, don't they?
Yeah, yeah.
Get your head around it. And I spent a little bit of time on the first level just making plants grow, because that's one of the aims as well, isn't it? Making the vegetation grow.
That's right. You got to populate the whole map with vegetation. That gives you like a bonus, like to unlocks challenge levels and things.
And it's kind of hypnotic, like just watching the plants creep along.
It's a beautiful made game. I think it's brilliant. Definitely.
And then sort of the second tier is there's certain passive elements which are moving around, such as water. I think there's one stage where you have to every now and again you have to use your dehydration power to get the water to fall so your people can cross, across various banks and stuff.
That's right.
And then it gets a little bit more tricky when they start bringing fire into play.
Yeah, and then they also bring in like water plants where you gotta plant these like bulging seeds that explode and when there's flames around. Like it just sets out the fire, puts out the fire. And also it's like the opposite. You got like flaming trees that evaporates water if it comes into the. It's good in that way, but it gets a bit silly, like introducing these plant things. I think we could have done with not introducing them into it, because it makes it a bit more. I won't say tricky, but just seems pointless because you can just use your powers anyway.
That's kind of where I got, and I left it there. I'm halfway through the game at the moment, and I think I got to a stage after the one you're describing, or perhaps that stage, and I found that I just kept veering wildly between a flooded world and an empty world by putting the fire power on or putting the water power on to douse the fire, and I didn't really find that much use to actually, like, what I was I guess what the aim is for you to put the water plants close to the fire plants, but not that close.
Yeah.
And I always found that I couldn't get that balance right.
Well, to be honest, I didn't find much use for them plant things anyway. I just if water started to flood, I'd just pick it all up and just dump it somewhere else, like.
Typical fucking labourer, you.
Yes, it's much easier. Prat around with plants.
So what would you rate it?
Out of 5,
Yeah.
I'd probably rate it a 4. I enjoyed it.
Okay, it sounds like you enjoyed it quite a bit.
The only thing I can say, the negative part, is a bit too short, and no spoilers, like, but the last level on it is probably the best level, and if they would have given you as much freedom as they had in the last level through the whole thing, I think it'd been a lot more fun. But that's maybe something to think about when they do DLC. They might introduce that next time. I don't know.
You never know.
You never know, mate. You never know.
I found the tone of the game a little bit obnoxious as well. That, like, you oldie tribes, and the breath is the life of all the land, and all that type of stuff. It's like, give me a fucking break, mate.
Don't like that then, mate. No.
Let me just chuck water around.
Did
you do any of the challenges?
No, I haven't tried. I tried one and it seemed a bit tricky.
Hmm.
Thought I could do with a bit more patience to do something like that. But the challenges are very demanding. Like,
They're really, really small though, aren't they? They're real snippets. Like, there's one that I was doing where you have to run your guys across the side of this mountain, and there's holes at the top of the mountain, and water comes down.
That's the one I played.
Roofs.
That's the one I played. Yeah.
So you need to swallow the water up.
Yeah, it's. I think if you had a bit of time on your hands and you thought you could do passing a bit of time, I think it'd be quite cool to try and get through them.
I don't know. I'd rather go and clean my kitchen or something, mate. And
Can't be that bad, mate.
I've never done that in my life.
Actually, your kitchen will be pristine anyway because it's never used.
Exactly. I remember I was here for about 6 months, and I think we were having one of my birthdays up here, and my missus was out at the shop or something, and one of her friends said, like, the stuff in the oven's starting to burn. Like, can you turn it down? I just looked at the oven. I just went, I don't know what to do. Like, what do you press? Like, what do you turn?
I think that's a bit like me as well. Like, I can't.
In the end, I just switched it off at the mains.
Yeah, it's best way, mate. Best way. So what would you rate this game then?
At the moment, I guess I'd say it's a high 3, but then keep in mind that I'm only halfway through, so I haven't seen a lot of the good stuff. I'm finding the mechanics they've introduced over the last couple of levels just a little bit tedious. You know, all those trees and stuff. It's not exactly what I was after.
But if you stick out to the end, the very last map's really cool. I like it.
Well, I might give it a go. I mean, I bought it, so.
You may as well.
Okay. All right. Well,
Okay.
maybe by the time we pick up in the next week or two, I'll have something to report back on that.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. I have been playing, my good friend, some mobile games. How do you feel about that?
My God, carry on. Let's have a listen.
Well, I was waiting for my missus in the pub, and I was pretty bored, and I didn't have a book or anything, so I started playing Plants vs Zombies,
All right.
which is something that I bought quite a long time ago, and hadn't really touched. And the good lady arrived, and she asked me what I was doing, and I showed her. And then, like a couple of sad cases, we spent the next hour and a half sitting in the pub
Playing on your iPhone.
playing on the iPod Touch, yeah. And we got quite a few looks, I can tell you.
I bet you did.
But you know me, mate. I'm not anything if not imaginative, and I decided to have a little bit of an experiment, and I called one of my other friends down.
Yeah.
And when he arrived, I put the iPod down on the table and I said, "Have a look at this game, see what you think. Have it shouldn't take you more than a minute." And he went, "Okay, all right, fair enough. Well, you go and get some drinks, and I'll have a look at this."
Yeah.
So then I went and got some drinks, and about an hour later, he was still playing it. So it was hilarious. I don't know what the pub must have thought. Like,
just meet up in the pub just to play on your iTouch. Like,
just to play on the iPod Touch. Have you played it, Plants vs Zombies?
I've played it. Yeah, I downloaded it for my iPod Touch also, but I never really played that much of it. Like, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't think we need to explain what it is. I'm sure if there's
I
anyone
think-
listening to this who doesn't know what Plants vs Zombies is, then they should probably just stop listening and use their iPod Touch cord to go and hang themselves or something.
It's how did you find the game, or can you give a brief example of what kind of game it's like?
It's just tower defense, isn't it? You have
That's all it is, isn't it?
yeah, it's just a tower defense game. You just have to plant stuff to stop other stuff coming in. Now,
Yeah.
what was interesting actually, just with all our talk of mobile gaming, is that my missus liked it so much, I bought it for an Xbox Live Arcade.
All right.
Yeah, they've got it up there as well, and didn't really like it as much without the touch. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is
Oh.
interesting. Are you ringing?
My phone's ringing. It's okay, I'll phone back.
Yeah, so she didn't like it as much, and I think there are certain games actually which just work better with touch.
That's it. You see, I think it's more. You got more control. I think just using your fingers.
No, that's not the first time you said that.
as I said that, I thought, oh no, that's
Yeah.
on.
You're like, I can use the one down there, my wee man, but I don't have as much control of him. Sometimes he just slips off and does his own thing.
God, whoever's just phoning me, they're relentless.
I think that you're phoning yourself.
I have got friends.
What's quite interesting as well is, do you know, we were talking earlier because we were actually recording this at a completely different day from the first section that we recorded, and the Nintendo president has actually come out after saying all that cool shit that he said, and he's gone, yeah, do you know, 3DS failure, that's got nothing to do with mobile gaming. It's a completely different thing.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
just thinking, though.
Oh dear.
It doesn't. It's not. Yeah, it's not a good statement, is it?
No. So getting back to the iPod Touch, what would you say was the most played games on your iPod?
The most played games on my iPods, I've got this one called Implode, which is it's a bit like Angry Birds.
Right.
But what you have to do is they've got these structures. So there's basically, it's black and white. Well, dark and light. It's two-tone colors. It's very, very simple. And you've got these little structures built on the screen, and you get a certain amount of explosives that you can put on key structural points.
Cool.
And the aim of the game is to knock the building down below a certain level with as few explosives as possible.
That sounds good.
Yeah, so
Might
it's
check
kind
it
of
out.
physics one, like Angry Birds, but
Cool.
it's free as well. Like that's another big thing to
Oh,
try.
that's cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'll give that a go.
So I played a lot of that, and what's the other one? The one that Epic put out. Infinity Blades.
That and Pinball. I've been playing that Pinball game, which I found quite cool.
Have you downloaded any of those new tables? I hear they.
Uh,
Oh,
yeah, I downloaded the Marvel pack. I think you get 4, like Spider-Man, Iron Man, Wolverine, and Blade. I think they're brilliant. Graphics are amazing.
cool.
And
Is it is it just one screen, like, or does it go up and up and up?
No, it's just one screen, and then if you get the ball like in a secret area, then it's like a little, like a little square caption at the top, so it tells you what the ball's doing when it's inside this like zone. It's really good as well because it's got like like on Trials HD where you got your friend scores on like
Yeah.
I'm the only person out of my friends that have got it, so I can't compare it against anyone. But it's quite cool because you can compare them up to it. So say you get to a certain, it'll say like you're not far away now from Deckard's score. Keep on going.
Mate, you'll never ever see a caption that says that.
Right, I reckon you should download it and then just say who's the pinball wizard. I think I'd dig
Who's
it.
the pinball wizard?
That's me.
I'm the pinball wizard.
No, mate.
How much does this thing cost?
It's 800 for the pack.
And how much for the base game?
No, that's it. The base game's free.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Well, I might do such a thing.
Do it, mate. Do it.
We might have to have score challenges which we report back on.
And I think you can do it online as well. Like like versus mode, so you can see what you're doing. Like
my Spider-Man would batter your blade.
No, mate.
Tell you
My
that much, mate.
spider senses are tingling.
That's not the first time you said that.
It's not at all, mate.
And she called the police and sprayed you with her mace that time as well.
Fair dues, mate.
All right, mate. Well, you've obviously got a night of debauchery plan, so I'll let you crack on.
Brilliant.
All right, have a good one.
Thank you very much, Deckard, and I'll speak to you again soon.
All right, take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
We express the same things, but with different words. We acknowledge the same curve, and those might have hurt. Just like the last line you draw to remind a past time, a fast minded feeling of freedom, please to be recognized. And I can hear your doctors calling from here to say.
What's going on? Like, who's said what?
Hang on, I've got quite a few.
It's not a problem, like, it's just there we go. We're down to her. This Google shit is pretty cool, isn't it?
It is cool.
Yeah. Like, you can do all of your documents on. Have you just closed it completely?
No, I've still got one left.
Oh, okay, cool.
I think.
Like you're having your documents and your reader there and stuff.
It's all gobbledygook to me, mate.
All right, I'm kind of good to go. Hang on. Oh yeah, I'm kind of good to go when you are, dude.
Yep, ready when you are, mate.
Okay. And play intro music. Do 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 do. It's not going to be like that, but that's fine.
It should be a Mario theme. This for Nintendo.
Do you think? Shall I pull up some Mario music?
Yeah.
I tell you what, mate. I fucking put up my most recent I'm recording now, so this can be some of the outtakes. Most recent Mortal Kombat video, I put like a minute Ghostbusters section in there.
What do you mean?
Like I cut in some of Ghostbusters into it.
What, like music?
No, the film.
Oh, the film.
Yeah. Because
Cool.
do you know on the roof on Mortal Kombat, that roof where you fight and the helicopter's crashed?
Yeah.
I was going like, this proper looks well like the roof from Ghostbusters.
Marshmallow Man.
Yeah, and then I cut in the bit where Gozer the Gozerian asks Ray if he's a god. Do you remember that bit?
Yeah.
You a god? And fucking when I put the video up, I got slapped with this warning from YouTube saying you've infringed upon Sony's copyright, and like I've got all this copyright info against the video.
Shit.
Yeah.
So
They've left it up because what they do is now Sony put ads on my video.
Right.
Because I've got a piece of their content. Do you see how that's slimy, don't you think?
I think so.
Yeah.
Bastards.
Anyway, okay. Intro music once again.
Let's go.
Let's go. I wonder if I can do Mario Emperor. Let's go. Right. There is the recording software.
Let me just go and get my phone case and my mate phones me out. There we go.
You still pretending you got friends?
No.
You going out on a Sunday night?
Yeah, I'm gonna go and watch the fight that was recorded last night.
Oh, who is it?
It's only UFC, mate.
Is it fucking what's his face?
Who's that?
Cole Drugs versus the bar manager.
There might be.
I think if you check the CCTV, mate, there might be something on there.
Oh, you see some wild stuff on that CCTV in that pub, mate.
Oh, mate, I can imagine.
Crazy.
All right, should we talk about what we've been playing?
Yeah, I'm just have a little run through what I've been playing.
I haven't really been playing too much, actually.
Just From Dust and Pinball. That's it, really.
Pinball FX.
Pinball FX.
Pinball FX 2?
2.
No. We wouldn't want you playing that shitty first one.
I haven't played that. Have you played that?
Nah, I haven't played any of them. I have Sense, you see.
They are quite good, actually. Marvel ones.
Did you see what I did to the controller picture?
The controller picture?
Yeah.
No.
Log into the thing and you'll see.
Cool.
All right, you can start telling me about games whenever you want, mate.
Okay. Have you started recording?
Yep.
Stop it. Hang on. I'll just finish off a podcast. Alright, Steve, I'll see you in a bit, mate. Bye. Sorry about that, dude.
Mate, you need to stop apologising. You said sorry about 50 times in the last 10
Oh,
minutes.
mate, apparently, because it's... Yeah.
Oh, what, are they waiting for you before they fucking do anything?
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough. That's fair play to you.
Yeah.
I love the way you just, yeah, no, but I'm doing my podcast, man. Like, I'm doing my podcast. Like, just be cool. I'll be there in a minute.
Yeah, so cool. Sorry about that, guys.
All right, should we, I guess we're ready to sign off unless you've been playing anything else.
No, that's about it, mate.